Hello everybody, so today I thought I would, today I'm going to be going over the transnational organized crime aspect of organized crime in general. The reason I picked this topic is because when I was looking over all the different ideas I could use, I saw the transnational organized crime and I saw the different aspects and just the way they run, just the way how it's so broad and how we can see different sides of the spectrum. For instance, you can have the American side of the organized crime, you can have the Russian side, Japanese, you can have all these different sides. And what makes it so important is we have to realize not every organized crime group will run like the American one, but they could run like the more like the Russian one, more like the Italian with it. I mean, they're all completely different, and even though they're all moving towards the same thing, whether it's being good with the drug trade or human trafficking, all these different things, it's all for profit, and that's what the whole point of being the whole point of the organized crime group is. When it comes to, I mean, a good separation we can see is with the Russian one, the way it's different. The Russian one consists of 10 separate quasi-autonomous brigades that operate more or less independently of each other. The group does pool resources, however, and the money overseen by 12-person council. That is completely different, whereas we can see something with the Yamaguchi Gumi, which is the number one Japanese organized crime group, where they run more sub-autonomously, and they're more focused on, they're more organized, and they're more kinship family-based. I mean, it shows us just how different and how much we need to study and look into and just understand that not every organized crime group is going to be the same. The first thing I want to talk about with transnational organized crime is what their main money maker, what their main profit maker, what the thing they do, one of the things at least that they do the most to make the money, and why it's so important to realize that it's important to see it's a transnational, it's a international thing. It can go from one country to another, but it's still the same crime group, whether or not they're using, or whether or not they're about two different countries, or many different countries. And one of that moneymaker is human trafficking. Now, I understand it's a sensitive topic, but human trafficking now, it can affect anybody. It really can. It doesn't matter what country you're in. Even in America, I've seen some stories where there's human trafficking happening right where I'm in the city I'm living in. But when it comes to transnational organized crime and human trafficking, it is one of it is their bread and butter, and as well as drugs. But human trafficking is something that it's tough to find an answer for. The answer is not something that we can find as citizens, but it's something that our government can work for. But we as citizens, all we can do is just spread awareness, make sure that we're aware of what to look out for. But when it comes to the transnational organized crime, it brings in a lot of money a year compared to any other aspect of their profit making. That and drugs, the bread and butter of transnational organized crime groups, I would say mostly consist of drug trade and human trafficking. And one of the shocking statistics that I found that is quite sad and frightening is from the Commission on Security and Corporation in Europe. Unfortunately, human trafficking and organized crime have coexisted for centuries. But whereas the slaves in the 1800s would have to be traded under perilous conditions for the modern day equivalent of thousands of dollars, today with just the click of a button you can purchase somebody's life for just a couple hundred, maybe less. And that was, once again, by the Commission on Security and Cooperation in Europe. So that just shows us how demeaning, dehumanizing, and just how terrible it can be, but how easy it is for transnational organized crime groups to make their profit. What they'll do is they'll bring in, it's as easy as they'll set out flyers, and people will see the flyers and they'll be desperate for something, they'll be desperate for money, just anything to be involved with. They'll go to it, and then once they're there, it's just all down to the crime group, what they're going to do with them. And then once they get their bidder, once they get their buyer, they traffic them to the buyer. And then human trafficking at its finest. And for instance, it's one of the main money makers for the number one organized crime group in the world, and that is the Sontseviskaya Bratva, which is the Russian organized crime group, as well as then the Yamaguchi Gumi, or the Yakuza Gumi, whichever one rather go by. the Japanese crime group, they're also heavily involved in human trafficking and drug trade as well. Now on to drugs, which is, it's easier to talk about because there's more regulations that we can understand. There's more things. There's not as many barriers and different things that we have to go across. It's as plain and simple as drugs are illegal. Organized crime groups are going to take advantage of the drugs being illegal, and they're going to sell them to the people that want the drugs, that need the drugs, and the people that are going to get them, whether they're legal or illegal. So the organized crime group will go ahead and take advantage of that, maximize their profit in the best way that they can. And drugs, I mean, it can be any drug. I mean, with heroin, the Soltsevskaya Bratva, in Russia, they consume about 12% of the world's heroin, while it contains just 0.5% of the world's population. Just with that organized crime group right there, they're holding more than 1/10 of the world's heroin, yet it's only 0.5% of the world's population. I mean, it's pretty shocking statistic, but it just shows us how impactful drugs can be for the organized crime groups that are working with it. Now, there's really no answer for this as well. I mean, it's up to the governments to find a solution for dealing with the drug problem. But when it comes to the organized crime, it's gonna keep happening. It's, again, one of their bread and butter, and yeah, drug trade can be tough. One of the shocking statistics I found about drug trade is, this was by the UNODC. It says, along with North America, Western Europe remains a prime market for cocaine. With an estimated 4.2 million users and a total consumption of an estimated 124 tons, Italy, Spain, and United Kingdom remain the largest consuming countries, representing over 60% of all consumption in Western Europe. Like I said, that statistic shows us how much people are going to get, like how often or how much people are willing to put their money towards drugs and how much they care to get these drugs. And whenever there's people that have this drive that are going to get this drug, whether it's legal or illegal, like I said, the organized crime groups are going to take advantage of that. They're going to, maximize their profit once again. It's plain and simple as that. The drug trade's been a problem for a while, and it'll always be relevant. Now, cybercrime is one of the last things I'll talk about, because cybercrime is a really cool thing to study. I find it really interesting because the thing with cybercrime is it's always evolving. Cybercrime is always evolving, which keeps our government officials that are working to stop cybercrime, which is it's keeping them on their toes, because as the cybercrime is evolving, that means our government officials have to be pretty much evolving their solutions to stop these cybercrimes. Cybercrime came up not too long ago, since the beginning of the internet. With cybercrime, whenever, say, the hackers or whoever's doing a cybercrime finds a little cheat in the system, the government officials have to start from the very beginning. They have to start with nothing and just go with the new trend of the cybercrime. And I mean, it's scary to think that cybercrime can run the country one day and all the technology that's happening. But I mean, cybercrime is a problem now, and it will forever be a problem now in society. Cybercrime, I think, has been growing. I think it went up 65% from 2015 to 2016, and it's only going to keep going up because there's more people getting on the internet. There's more people finding out all the new ways to get around the laws and the regulations on the internet. And I can only imagine what could happen with if the getting rid of net neutrality bill goes through. But that's another topic. So cybercrime is a problem, and cybercrime, it is. Transnational organized crimes are associated with cybercrime. Don't get me wrong, but it's more of a like necessity for them, but they don't use it to make all their money. They'll do it to forward their business, but they won't do it to make all their money. It's not one of their money makers, but they do it to enhance their business, to make it easier for them to sell their drugs, or for the human trafficking, for them to be able to traffic humans across the country or traffic humans across the world. So it's just cybercrime plays a role in organized crime, and I wish the book talked a little bit more about it. But I think it's something that we need to look into and understand that cybercrime is a huge problem, and it will forever be a problem in today's society. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you.